Hello. This is a new video. We're going to be talking about Klinefelters syndrome. But first, this is my dad.
Hello.
And this is me in the flesh and body. So yeah.
Look, there's May in the back in the corner. She just went behind the barrel there.
I don't really know much about this, so my dad, he's gonna explain most of it, because I don't really understand all of it. So
do you want us to just talk to each other?
Yeah,
let's
just talk to each other.
Okay, so you started this video.
To the camera.
You started this channel to talk about autism.
Yes.
Right? Eli on the spectrum. And there's also another condition, or it's called a syndrome, that you have.
Yeah.
And it's called Klinefelter syndrome.
Okay.
So you want to do a video where we talk to your audience, or your listeners, the people of YouTube, about Klinefelter syndrome. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you know about it?
Well, I think the only thing that I do know is just that I have an extra X, but that it literally doesn't mean anything to me, because I don't. Yeah. Every time I get explained to that, it's
confusing.
It confuses me, and it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. And I will admit, like I said to you, I'm not an expert. So I took biology in high school. I took it in college.
Yeah.
And then I'm interested in it. In physiology I took also, but I never learned about Klinefelter syndrome until we learned that you have it. And that's when you were 17 years old, so about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And basically what I know about Klinefelter syndrome is doctors and medical researchers call it a sex chromosome abnormality. And basically every cell in our bodies, humans have many, many cells. I don't know if it's millions or billions or hundreds of thousands, but we have cells, brain cells, we have blood cells, we have cells in our bones and in our skin, all over. We have cells that are helping our body do what it needs to do. And inside the nucleus of every single cell, there is 46 chromosomes, 23 pairs. So 23 times 2 is 46.
So there's different variations of this, of whatever.
Yeah, except for pretty much all humans, or the majority of humans, there's 46 chromosomes. People with Down syndrome have less chromosomes.
Mom told me that.
Yeah. And so Klinefelter syndrome is about as common as Down syndrome. But instead of having less chromosomes, people who are born with Klinefelter syndrome, and it is something you're born with, it's something that you have when you're a fetus. So when the baby is in there, the womb, people will test for it sometimes and find out, oh, your unborn child has 47 chromosomes. And what the extra chromosome is it's the sex chromosome. So the sex chromosome determines the biological sex, if it's a biological male or a biological female, right? So a biological female is XX, and a biological male is XY. But someone with Klinefelter syndrome is XXY. So you have an extra X. And so everyone who is born with Klinefelter syndrome, they're born without testing it. They're biologically male. It appears to be a male. There's a penis, there's testicles, everything that you'd see with a male. But it's usually not found unless they do testing for it until puberty. And even then it's not found that much, but that's one of the symptoms, is puberty might be delayed. Another symptom is other developmental delays, but most people, when there's developmental delays, they don't think about Klinefelter syndrome. So you had some developmental delays as you were growing up, and we had different testing done. They never said, oh, let's test for Klinefelters. That's a different type of test, a hormone test. So anyway, we both have tons and tons of cells in our bodies, and every single cell has 46 chromosomes in the nucleus. For you, every cell has 47. You have one extra. What other things do you think? Do you want me to? Do you want us to talk about?
There were some other things. I can't remember what it was.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like what we were talking about in the car the other day.
I can't remember exactly, but one thing is, since this is Eli on the spectrum,
Yeah.
it's common that people who have Klinefelter syndrome often also have autism. It's not always, but it's common. Another thing we've learned is that there's like a lot of different struggles that can come with Klinefelter syndrome, like sometimes learning disabilities, sometimes other things, sometimes emotion dysregulation or other kinds of struggles. But there's a lot of interesting strengths that can come too. Do you remember when we met Ryan from San Diego, who has Klinefelters?
Yeah.
Do you remember how we started hearing about people and meeting people, and the more we'd hear about like people's interests and what they're into, it started to resonate a lot with like things you're interested in?
Yeah, like Legos and stuff.
Yeah, like we started hearing a lot of people with Klinefelters love like Legos and love taking pictures and are really good at observing things. And oftentimes they're not as like, they didn't grow up as active in terms of playing with all the boys and running around and wrestling. They'd kind of like sit back and watch. And we were like, oh, that was like Eli. Eli would be at a play date or whatever you call it, and would be kind of sitting on the couch and watching the other boys, wrestling around. So there's some interesting, there's of course differences. So many people with Klinefelters are just like human. They're different people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it can present interesting challenges. Probably one of the hardest things is that people with Klinefelters are usually infertile. Usually they cannot have,
What does that mean?
cannot have biological children.
Yeah.
Right? And so there are new technologies where they're like doing these procedures to extract sperm so that some people could, through other methods, have biological children. So it is a genetic syndrome, but it's not inherited. But they're developing new ways to try to help people who want to have biological children to do so. But was the other thing you were talking about like having to do with like gender identity?
Yes, that was another one. I wanted to talk about that too.
So this is an interesting kind of question mark.
Yeah.
Because, do you want to say anything about it?
Well, I can't remember what I said last time when we were talking about it, but there was like this time, like a long time ago when I was younger. I've said multiple times to my dad, but I don't remember this. I've said multiple times that I wanted to be a girl, but I don't know.
Yeah, there was times when Eli was growing up where he would maybe say, maybe once a year, once every other year, like something about being a girl. Like, oh, I wish I was a girl, or I would wear a dress or something like that. And
But that was like when I was like shopping with my mom and like I see like a cool like design or something on a dress or something. I'm like, why do all the girls get the cooler stuff?
Right. So what a lot of people call that is gender dysphoria. It's when you're not or just gender fluidity. There's different names. I'm not an expert in this area. I've learned a lot in the last few years.
Yeah.
But when you were growing up, we didn't like ignore it, and we didn't encourage it. We just kind of listened and said, oh, interesting, and we were just kind of noticing, I wonder if that's going to come up more. Klinefelters wasn't on our radar at all, and we knew somewhat about transgender, but we didn't know that much about it. And I probably had my own transphobia, is what people call it. So that's when you're kind of like, ooh, I'm scared of trans. I don't know if I want my child to be trans. I definitely had some of those beliefs, when you were young. I think probably back then, and maybe still, a lot of parents feel that way, whether it's because they're worried about their child struggling or other reasons. But that is common with people with Klinefelters, which actually makes sense that there's more gender curiosity, gender fluidity, gender dysphoria, it could be, that kind of went away for you in terms of you expressing it, at least. But this is something that the interesting question mark part to me is that when you went to a clinic when you were 17, when you first got diagnosed, and they did some testing on you, this Denver clinic that like specializes in sex chromosome abnormalities in the whole United States, and they do that for children, pediatrics. So you weren't 18 yet, so we got you an appointment. You went there, and when one of the appointments, I was on it with Zoom, and I asked the doctor, I said, is Klinefelter syndrome considered intersex? Right? LGBTQIA, the I sometimes usually stands for intersex. And I asked them that question, and they didn't know how to answer it. And these were the medical experts.
So then that made you think that it was yes.
Well, no, it just made me confused. It left the question. And what it kind of did was, because when I Googled it, sometimes Google would say, yes, Klinefelters is intersex. But then when Klinefelter men talk about it, they don't necessarily say, yes, I'm intersex. They're like, no, I'm a man with Klinefelters. Yeah. So the way I see it is Klinefelters is a medical, like you can see it. You can do a test and count 46, 47. You can see the extra X chromosome. You can't do that for some of the you can't see like a blood test for lesbian or gay or trans. You can't, maybe one day they'll have that. You can't see like, oh, this thing in the brain means you are this. But for intersex, there is. So it makes sense to me that a lot of people think Klinefelters is intersex because there is more of a physical.
There's a lot of information going on, so
yeah.
I'm kind of flying past everything.
Yeah.
Can you maybe like
summarize it? Yeah.
Everything?
Basically, it seems like people who are Klinefelters who want to claim it as intersex do, and some men with Klinefelters are like, no, I'm not intersex, I'm a man with Klinefelters with an extra X. So it seems like there's not an agreement on whether it's intersex or not.
Even the internet says that.
Yeah. So that's interesting to me, and it kind of shows the way even some of our medical terminology is like cultural, and it changes over time.
Yeah.
Like you might feel some resonance. Some people might feel like more acceptance in like, oh, there is something about my experience of gender and my experience of being in a body and being a gender that's different than other people. And so you might feel some people with Klinefelters might feel some resonance in that community, and other people might feel like, no, I'm a straight cis man that has an extra X chromosome. Right? So I think it does in this case come down to a bit more of a personal choice, if that makes sense, in terms of how you identify yourself.
I was talking to Mom about this, and she explained it to me as like you could like say that, but like identify as a male.
Yeah, so you could be like, I'm an intersex male with Klinefelters. Yeah.
So that's how I was thinking about it recently when I talked to Mom about it.
Would you want to find out more about different types of intersex?
What do you mean?
Like there's a lot of different variations. Like there are people who are born with a penis, but they have ovaries, right?
Like
you don't
like that
have
one character in, what is it called?
Freaks and Geeks. Yeah. There are people who are born with a vagina, but they also have the beginnings of like testicles, but like up higher, like that didn't ever descend. There are I don't know enough about it to tell you all the names. Yeah. But then there's other sex chromosome abnormalities like Turner syndrome, which is I think just 1X. I think.
I've heard of that. Isn't there like another name for that, like diagnosis?
I can't
like,
remember.
Like Down syndrome, but it's called Turner syndrome, but it's like related.
Turner syndrome, I think, is like a female born with just 1X instead of 2, I think.
But isn't like I thought it was like a disability, Turner syndrome.
The one I'm thinking about is like Klinefelters. I think that's Turner syndrome.
I don't know.
So one of the symptoms is that men with Klinefelters oftentimes develop some more traditionally feminine physical traits. Not always, but sometimes they develop fat tissue around their chest.
Yeah,
Right?
at first when you like looked up Klinefelters, it would show that, but then when we met with the Klinefelters, like I guess specialist, I guess.
Yeah.
He was trying to make it so that the pictures wouldn't show that because it was kind of like insensitive, I guess.
It was kind of a caricature. It made it think that everyone with Klinefelters has these kind of breast tissue.
Yeah.
And some do, and some don't. Or they, interesting. A lot of times they're taller. People with Klinefelters.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
And so you're not necessarily taller, although you're taller than a lot of people on your mom's side of the family.
Fun fact though, one time I shrunk.
Did you really?
Yeah, because me and Sunny were like measuring each other, and then it just happened to be.
And you were shorter than you were the last time.
Yeah, because the like we measured each other the previous day, and then like I was taller by like an inch, and then the next day we measured each other. It was
Interesting. Yeah, so those are some of the features and the things. Again, there's a lot of variation with different people. And I think it seems like to me, one of the things you're working through and figuring out is like, how does both Klinefelters and autism, how do they factor into your life?
Yeah.
And how do you do life with these differences that you experience?
Yeah.
That sometimes can create really difficult challenges.
Yeah. I mean, the first time I heard that I like, when I first got diagnosed with autism, or I guess when we first found out.
Yes?
You just let that land on you?
Yeah, it's all right.
Okay. When we first found out that I had autism, I just like didn't really like the idea. You
Yeah.
know? So I just like ignored it.
Right. You didn't want to think about it.
Yeah, and so then when anyone brought it up, I would get kind of annoyed.
Mm-hmm.
But now it just like, it's still kind of annoying, but like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, these kinds of things, it's hard to know, you know, for me, how to relate to you.
Yeah.
You know, I try to imagine, put myself in your shoes. I think sometimes one of the hardest things might be like you have a real sensitivity towards people and a love for people and animals, but you also feel very, with humans at least, a real difficult time communicating, understanding, and being understood.
Yes.
And that seems to, from what I understand, that is more the Klinefelter side with a processing speed, like a slower processing speed that makes it so, and some auditory processing issues that make it hard to like stay in it with someone.
Yeah. When I'm like, when there's like a deep conversation and we're talking for a while, it's kind of hard to stay focused because it's like there's a lot of noise and stuff going on. Because I also have ADHD, and that's like, that makes it really hard.
You know, when I just Googled before our video and looked at what is it saying on there, when it mentioned some of the developmental delays that come with Klinefelters, one of the specific things it mentioned was ADHD.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an area I can relate to you on, although I think our ADHD, there's similarities and differences.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
How do you handle the noise issue?
Well, I use Bluetooth, or not Bluetooth, I use noise canceling headphones, and that helps a lot. Sometimes I'll wear them, sometimes I won't. But if I'm going to like a massive event where there's a lot of people, then I'll be wearing my headphones. Like at a concert or something, then I'll bring headphones. But when I'm just like with like a small group of family, then
does it help you a lot to have noise canceling headphones?
Yeah, it does.
That's awesome.
Because I also noticed recently that I don't like the noise of the road when like cars are driving on it.
Yeah.
Because that's like like constant, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so you've got some unique experiences. Your humanness, your being, your life is like different. I mean, everyone's life is different, but you experience autism,
Yeah.
and you experience Klinefelter syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah. How does that affect your goals in life, or what you want your life to be like?
I don't know. It kind of like, well, I mean, I think, yes, I don't know. What do you mean?
Like, do you still want to be like, I still want to be married, or I want to go to college, or I want to have a career, or is it kind of like, I don't know what I want to do?
I mean, some of it is kind of like, I feel like it's kind of interfering with me getting a license, because I really want that, but it's like
A license to drive?
yeah, a license to kill. What is the lyric? What's the lyric?
James Bond?
No. These people.
License to ill.
I said it wrong.
License to kill. That's 007.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, I think it interferes with my driver's license because I want to get that, but a lot of the struggles is just like,
Like taking tests.
yeah, there's a lot of things going on with that, and then because reading is hard for me.
Yeah, we've practiced driving. I think you're a pretty good driver, so I think you could do it. But
I
jumping
think,
through the hoops is
I
hard.
think I can do it too, but it's just the practice test part.
Yeah.
And I don't know, driving around.
Yeah, I think you're going to get it. I think you're going to get it. Something I've noticed about you, Eli, is you usually meet the same things that the other people like your age are doing. You just do it a few years later.
Yeah.
And so I think you're going to get it. It's just patience, and yeah. And we got to put in the work, right? We are practicing driving, but there's more to do there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say to your audience on Eli on the Spectrum?
Check out my Fortnite videos.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, love you. Love
Thanks.
the way you are and who you are.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do more videos.
Let's do more